entertainment, current events, and Hollywood. Don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Maddy Myer.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Super excited.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. I love going back to the beginning. I always say the beginning charts our trajectory in life, our little habits we pick up along the way, follow us into our adulthood. Tell me a little bit about young Maddy. What was it like to be, you when you were younger? What was life like? And how did you find your way into doing the awesome things that you're doing now?
Young Maddy is very much like she is now. She was outgoing, loved to make new friends. Only child, so kind of had to find out really quickly how to do that. And I always hung out with like two different sets of guy cousins who probably informed some of my like tomboy interest to this day. But always ran around with them. I played basketball growing up and tried every other sport too. Played piano, and I like always had different passions and things I was like super into. And I think my mom did a really good job at like not stifling those, but actually like elevating and fueling them, whether it was like Hannah Montana party when I was like 6 years old to like even now she went to WrestleMania with me last year. And so it's just like very cool to have like a mom that gave in to like all these passions, and I think that kind of helped me stick with them to this day.
I think support is so important, to have that support, to have that, that foundation to push you into the direction you want, that you need to go. So
Yeah,
shout out to mom.
thank you.
Um, absolutely. I think you're super cool. You do a lot of amazing things. What originally drew you to public relation and entertainment storytelling? And when did you realize that, this was your calling?
Yeah, it's a funny story because I was all over the place of what I wanted to do, like in high school, like for a minute, and the longest lasting career I wanted was to be a marine biologist and work at SeaWorld before I found out they suck. Um, and I wanted to do that for the longest time. And then like junior year, I pivoted to either wanting to be a PT or a nurse. I just always knew I like also wanted to be around people a lot and like have a job where not one day is the same as the other. Like I'm a Gemini and I need that kind of
Wow.
variety in my life, you know? And so I went into undergrad as a nursing major and then found out maybe I actually don't like blood this much. So let me get my booty out of here. And it was between actually journalism and PR what I wanted to do because at the time I was writing for the sports column at my college. And I had like that experience already, and I knew like I was a good writer ever since high school. But eventually, inevitably, chose PR because you still get that writing side, but I also wanted the like dynamic side of like events and like social media and just like interacting with so many different people and like back to that not having every day the same. Like PR is the epitome of that. Like it's a changing media landscape all the time. Like every few years, honestly, at this point, every few months now, and being able to like adapt and fit into that kind of world is, I think, what I was made for. And like as soon as I was in that PR major, it felt like I was at home and I like had a clear path from there. Like, okay, this is like undergrad, and then I'm gonna go to grad school in LA at USC and like get
Yeah.
more knowledge there and like get more entwined in the entertainment sector because I was doing like PR internships just not in entertainment before because compared to like LA, other LA, Louisiana didn't have as much besides like the NOLA music and sports scene. So I did like a nonprofit and like hospitality kind of internship before I switched to more entertainment opportunities. But still good experiences, but I always knew like the entertainment world is where I wanted to be because it's like passions that I love so naturally, and I want to have a job where I'm having fun. So why not kind of intertwine the two?
I love that. I love that. I mean, and you're doing such an amazing job at it. I wonder, how does being a freelance journalist shape the way you approach publicist work, or especially when you're pitching stories?
Yeah, I think it helps because like coming from that background, I kind of know what journalists are looking for. And
Mhm.
not just journalists, because nowadays like you're also pitching podcast hosts, content creators, and influencers. So, kind of like doing your due diligence research wise, that plays into both sides of the coin and making sure that like you're hitting them with the right angles and a really interesting story to kind of secure that coverage.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking, like, we live in such a, like, the industry is so driven by hype and headlines. How do
Mhm.
you approach, or stay grounded in such that, in authenticity with that,
Yeah.
the approach of being, hype and the headlines and all that stuff? How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I had a moment kind of early on, and I'm like very thankful as much as it sucked at the time. I'm very thankful that it happened this way. Like, I was getting bullied left and right in middle school for like all those
Sorry.
tomboy things I was interested in, and thanks. Like the wrestling and comic books, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Just nobody else did except for my cousins that I was hanging out with and my mom. So, yeah, I like had a few years where like I was called different names left and right, and it kind of made my like self-expression and self-esteem go down. But then something like switched whenever I turned 16. Maybe it was because I had the best Sweet 16 birthday party, like probably in this whole damn state. It was like a whole event. But I was like, actually, like, I'm still gonna love these things, and like, I don't care what anybody has to say. Like, I think it's cool. I know it's cool, actually, and like, maybe they just don't get it because they don't have passions like me. And I've like stuck with that kind of mindset like up until now. And I hear from like my friends a lot. Like I'm super just like comfortable and authentic being myself. And that's really admirable because not everybody can say that, especially like as a young 20 something. So, um,
Right, that part.
yeah. So yeah, it's very hard. And then like mental health wise, the entertainment and passion stuff, like that's an outlet for me, like especially music. That's like my number one go-to. And then
Mhm.
my mom and my best friend are like my rock for sure.
I love that. I love that. I mean, I think it's so important, like you said, mental health. Oh my God, it's like the people. I don't think people understand how much it takes to keep this going, and just always reinventing and staying with the trends and the times. It can
Right.
be mentally exhausting. So I mean, but you do it so well. And yeah, those people
Thank
just,
you.
they look in. They're this, I call them the silent haters, the ones that
There
still
you
watch, but they
go.
don't say anything. um, can you walk us through what a major red carpet or a high profile campaign looks like behind the scenes?
Yeah, red carpet screening days, no matter how many times you do them, like the anxiety is just up there because there's so many different things that can go wrong, especially if you're like not the one who's actually planning it, but just like your client is attending. Like from check-in, like they could have the wrong name. And then it's like, well, shit, where are my client's tickets? And that could be like a whole spiral. Or sometimes it's like okay, we got through that. We did like the photo line, and now it's like, well, shit, nobody wants to interview my client. So now I have to like come up with a cool, creative way to like pitch them in real time on the carpet without them hearing me pitch them in case the journalist says no right then and there. And so it's like a balancing act for sure. And then it's just kind of like staying with them, making sure they're maximizing the time and networking a bit, and then also just making sure they're having a good time. Like you want to make sure they're having fun and it's not something that's like exhausting and draining for them. That's why you're there is to kind of be the mitigator.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're known for the fandom informed perspective. How does being a fan yourself make you better at what you do?
Yeah, I think it's a big part of it is like one, whether it's signing clients, like from that initial step is like I can already predict like what kind of projects are going to be popular and getting
Mm,
buzz. I'll shout out like a show that I'm absolutely hooked on right now. It's called Paradise. You guys should go check it out. It's like post-apocalyptic kind of vibe, but
nice.
just like knowing the trends and what's kind of like popping in the industry at the moment, I think helps inform from the get-go like what kind of clients we want to go after. And then once like a client is actually on board in the same sense, I think it helps me inform like, is this going to be like a super easy kind of campaign because everybody's already talking about the show and those are like cool, or is it going to be like I have to dig down deep and find like some super niche people and do more research and see like this show is like popular to only a certain amount of people or a certain type of people and trying to like navigate getting the appropriate like press coverage in that way.
Yeah, yeah. You're currently writing your first pilot, right? What inspired you to step into that, and into scripted storytelling?
Yeah, I feel like that idea came up around the same time as me wanting to do the podcast. Um,
Yeah.
so I was like, I just want more and more creative outlets for myself. And being able to write more is always nice because I love writing. And the like actual thought of like why I wanted to do it fully is eventually I want to have like my own PR agency where it's
All
like sports
right.
entertainment focused. And to do that, I think like the podcast is like step one to launching that. And then the screenplay is more, I mean, the pilot is more so just like it's a passion project, but like if it helps open doors to like new folks that could potentially be clients or help me in forming my own agency one day, then that's amazing.
That's awesome. Speaking of podcast, all right,
Mhm.
you're stepping into that world. I mean,
Yes,
congratulations. Tell us
thank you.
about that. Tell us about that. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. Right now, I am kind of stressed. I'm not gonna lie because it's almost out and it's like, um, did I work hard enough? Did I like do everything I was supposed to do? I'm like editing this myself too, and
Wow, congrats.
just yeah, I didn't realize how much time that would take. Like I knew it would take a while, but like oh my God, and like I feel like I'm a perfectionist and I want everything to be right and like sometimes the captions don't work out and it's like not my fault. So I'm just like trying the best I can and like putting as many hours into it, both for like the actual launch of like the physical entity of the podcast as well as
Yeah.
like the physical launch party. The fact that they're like back to back happening is a lot and yeah, so talk to me again after it's actually out, and I think I will for sure be a little less stressed.
I love that. You know, I think it's so awesome that, you're getting to the podcast. Well, I mean, there's so many, right? And you're just thinking like, how do you keep it up? Like it's just
Yeah.
I imagine just like, but I mean, I think for me, I think I just really love talking to people. I
hmm
just really like just getting to know cool people like yourself and the journey and like what makes you do what you do and how you do it so well. So I'm sure it's gonna be fantastic. I wish I could be there, but I'll be there in spirit.
Same. Yay.
I love asking this question, and there is no wrong answer. But the three levels of influence:
Mm.
money, power, and respect. If you could choose only one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Oh, deep question. Um, I'm gonna go with, well, they're all hard in their own way, but I'm gonna go with respect and not in the sense that I think everybody needs to or will respect me, but it's just something cool to strive for. I had a lot of like leadership roles in college and just being like that role as somebody that people could rely on and come to with questions and guidance, that's always it's self-fulfilling, but it's also like you feel like you're making a difference to others. And I feel like with the other two, like with power, things can get carried away. And with money, like, yes, money's nice, but it's not everything.
Oh, wow. I love that. It's a great answer. Great
Thanks.
answer. What advice would you give to someone that's trying to break into the entertainment, PR, or journalism?
Yeah, one I want to say, and I feel like other people say this too, but start early with your networking and your internships. The earlier the better, so that you can get as many under your belt as possible, internship wise, and so you can make as many connections as possible, like networking wise. So start with that early, and then be patient. And like I still am working on this to this day. I feel like I'm super impatient and I always have to like remind myself and try to work on emotional regulation, but being patient, because you can be grinding so hard and like still like nothing happened, but don't give up, like keep persisting and eventually something will work out and it's going to be the right opportunity for you. And then lastly, kind of like an aside from the patience, is you need to be like flexible and adaptable, because especially not just in PR, but the entertainment and media landscape in general is very ever changing. There's webs and flows, and you have to be ready and prepared if something might happen or something might go wrong, or like a new trend. Like, I mean, look with AI right now. I'm anti-AI, by the way, just putting that out there, but it's taking over at the moment, and just being able to kind of go with the flow is more helpful than you think.
Yeah, definitely. Can you share a career moment, like that made you realize, like, wow, I'm really doing this?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I've done different award shows for sure, and Um, I think it's two that really made me be like, oh my God, this is my life. And it was the first time I went to the Grammys as a publicist, because I had been my first year out in LA as a guest of a friend of my mom's who was nominated, which was cool in its own right, just being able
Yeah.
to like be there as a spectator. But then the next year I got to go as a publicist for like representing some nominated clients, and that was like a whole different experience. Like actually being on the carpet with the clients and navigating that. Like it's music's biggest night, and that's so true. Like there's so many moving parts. It's like the longest red carpet I've ever been on. And I think I was like 23 at the time, and I'm just like, or 24, one of those. And I'm just like, wow, time is an illusion, because like 3 years ago I never would have imagined this. And then in the similar vein, last year I got to go to the Tonys, and I'm a big Broadway theater geek or nerd, whatever you want to say. And that was like a very surreal, like what the hell moment. I'm in New York at the awards. Like I grew up wanting to go and watch these, and I again, just like being there with clients and in that role was super cool.
That's cool. I mean, that's honestly, that's a testament of just how hard you work. The fact that, you did that at such an age. I think a lot of times that young people are like, well, I'm young. And I'm like, no, this is the time. So you
Oh,
look
you gotta
back when
go
you're,
for it when you're young. Like, and
yeah,
also I think that's how you like you learn what you want early on, is like when you're young, you're supposed to make mistakes and they happen, and those can inform like your opinions and different routes in your life when you get older.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And I'm curious, what is it like when a day off look like for yourself? Like, when you're not really got too much going on. What does it look like for you?
Um, well, I like to say as a publicist, you don't ever truly have a day off. It's like even if you are off, and I am the type of person who likes to keep my phone on do not disturb, like even if it's a work day, I this is funny, but like I'll let um certain people through only. And because like I when I'm in work mode, I like to like not be disturbed for real. But then even on like my off days, I'm still on do not disturb, because I'm like I'm off and I know I might have to like call a client or two, because even though I'm off, like they still have stuff going on, and that happens pretty often. But um when I'm like actually off, my favorite thing to do would be like to go to a theme park and ride some roller
Nice.
coasters. especially being in LA, like that's super easy. There's so many options. Um, hang out with the pup and play some basketball and hang out with my best friend. Those are like some of my favorite things to do. And then also hitting up concerts or a sporting event. Like I love going, besides wrestling, I love going to like basketball and baseball games and any concert. If I know only one song, like I will be there.
I love it. That sounds like a good time. Sounds like a good time. So you said you mentioned wrestling. Now, and I'm curious because my dad, is a big wrestle fan. Like I remember growing up and my dad would just obsessed with the show. And I just didn't understand. I'm just like, all right. But then I started to get older. I was like, some of the women fighters are kind of interesting. And
Yeah.
I like that now there seems to be more of that, more women. I think what was her name? Monet. I think her name is
Oh, Mercedes Monet. She's my favorite.
Mercedes.
She's my favorite
Yes.
women's wrestler. That's crazy that you just mentioned her.
Yeah, she's absolutely like the things that she's done just as a woman and all
Yeah.
the records that she's broken. I think that's pretty admirable. And I was like, wow, that's even though she's not, and I heard some of the controversy around her story and but then, she's making way more money I think at was it T
AEW.
and AW, yeah. So she's gotten a big check. So good for her. Do you think it's getting like just like with that, a lot of women are starting to um stand up and say, hey, I demand more because I am also a part of this division, even though yeah, this is I guess a man's sport, but we're here too.
Yeah, no, yeah, she was definitely a big catalyst for that. And my other favorite female wrestler, her name's AJ Lee, back in her era about 10 years ago was like, well, no, even more than 10 years ago because she retired in 2015. But she was like at the time the women's wrestlers were still called divas and they would get like 5 minute matches. She was like one of the few that got more than 5 minute matches because she was a great wrestler and also great on the mic, but she was also like actively advocating for the women's rights. She was like, the women's merch sales are doing better than the men, yet we get a fraction of the screen time. What's up with that? Like making her voice known. And I think she really like set off a chain reaction with that because literally the next year after AJ left, that's when Mercedes at the time in WWE named Sasha Banks came and her and three other girls called the Four Horsewomen kind of like kept that legacy from AJ alive and like heightened the women's matches 100%.
Yeah, I'm like, go Mercedes. Like the fact that she went on, I mean, she's pretty popular. Like I saw her social media. I'm like, holy crap! Like
Yeah,
she's definitely changed the game a lot. So I love
she's
that.
probably one of the most famous and well known. And she's like it doesn't always happen, but like in the case where you're able to be mainstream and transition to like doing acting as well.
Oh
And
yeah,
like the perfect person for that. And we haven't really seen like a woman do that as much as like the men, like the John Cena, Rock, Batistas of the world. But
yeah.
he's killing it. Like she was in Mandalorian and great job.
Oh right, she was. That's right. I forgot about that. Speaking of that, women voices and all that, and just um times are changing. Do you feel like was that something that you had to, being young, being a young woman as well, doing what you're doing, is it harder sometimes to be taken seriously?
I think as a publicist, it's actually funny. Like there's more women than men publicists,
Mm.
would say. I don't know why actually, but yeah, that's the case that I've noticed, at least in the entertainment space, is that there are definitely more women publicists than men. But still, whenever you're like at these in-person events, it's still the same because it's still society and they're always gonna like listen to a man first. So you have to be persistent and like speak up 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of legacy do you hope to leave through your storytelling and work?
Hmm. Ooh, okay. Hopefully, like what I was hinting at a bit earlier is like being my authentic self and that being like very admirable. I want to be somebody that people can like rely on, whether it's somebody that's like super close to me, like I am, a super loyal friend and person if you're in my close circle. Like I ride or die for you. So that for sure. And then with the pod, just hopefully having like a safe space and a way to like build community of other people that feel like they have like all these passions and they want to talk about them and they don't want to be called too much. And I hate those words too much like that. But that like it's okay to have these passions and like let them show for sure.
I love that. And I don't think that I think that's one thing that I've growing up, I realized that I was bullied too as well. And I think people who are bullied or who are called those things are the ones that you have a lot to say, you have a lot to give, and you're doing just that. So congratulations on everything you have going on. And yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gosh, time flies so fast on the show. It's like it's over already. Is there one thing that you do, or do you have a ritual where when you're feeling down and you're not inspired and you're just, what keeps you going in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy because the easiest access to the things I love is social media, but at the same
Hmm.
time, it's like a drain sometimes, especially on the eyes, because I'm already staring at my screen pretty much all day as a publicist. So,
Yeah.
whenever I'm like really, really down and like I need that kind of break, I try to do like a no screen day. I usually
Mm.
do it every Sunday as like I'm not answering anybody except my mom and best friend. But like everything else, like nobody else is gonna talk to me that day because it's like my me time. And I kind of use that as a refresher and music is definitely a go-to for me. I don't have to be looking at the screen. I can just be listening to it.
I love that. I love that. Side note, did you really enjoy the Bad Bunny's performance at the
Yes, it was amazing. Oh my God. I can't believe that like there were so many people butthurt about it. I mean, I can
I
believe it,
know.
but just because of the state of society at the moment, but it's just like, oh my God, you are a bunch of children and like just disgusting behavior, but he killed it. He is
He did.
an amazing performer. I think he did a really good job also just showing off like the culture.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I was like, Lady Gaga, what the heck? What are you doing in here?
Cameo.
Hey, I love Gaga. Gaga's gonna pop up in somebody's all the time. I love that. Really quick, where can people find you on social media to follow everything you got coming on and coming up down the pipeline?
Yeah, so I'm at Maddy Mania podcast, no S, with all of the platforms, so TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and then for the like audio platforms, same on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, and Amazon. So yeah, you guys tune in, follow along. There's gonna be clips on socials, whole episodes on the other platforms. So super excited for everybody to tune in. Hopefully they like it.
I'm sure you're amazing. You're amazing, and thank you again
So
for
are
coming
you.
on. It was it was a pleasure. It was a
Thanks for having
pleasure.
me. Seriously.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Come back anytime, anytime. Thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We see you guys next time. Bye bye.